All right, so welcome to the panel. These are my esteemed colleagues from New Relic, PagerDuty, and Engine Yard. Jamie, we'll start off with you. Give us your name, what is it that you do, and how do you use your Zendesk?
Hi, my name is Jamie, and I am the manager of operations for support engineering here at Engine Yard. I've been here for 5 years, and we use our Zendesk as it's our primary customer-facing help portal. We do take phone calls, and we do IRC, but we always start with, did you file a ticket? So it's our living, breathing support system. We're 24/7 support. We have customers globally, employees globally. Everything we do is basically through a ticket. It has a lot of integration points. We live in the cloud with our customers. I know there's questions, I'll get to things later, but we essentially have VDocs and dashboards built out all through from Zendesk. We try to live with our customers in the cloud, currently in real time using Zendesk. We have a lot of processes built around it. We're kind of crazy on the process front. It is our support. Our support team is in Zendesk, and it's our primary tool to keep our customers happy.
Oh, and kind of as a follow-on question to that, when did you realize that, I guess, like, the typical Zendesk wasn't enough? Like, I know you made a lot of customizations and things, and everybody can answer this when you're doing your introduction.
We customized it as soon as we got it. Okay. Not that the product isn't great. It's because what we need is very, very specific, because we're with our customers 24/7, because our customers are developers. We are a platform that developers put their applications on, and we are their ops team. So they are busy keeping their code being pushed, and they're doing their thing. We're keeping them up. So we realized to be so proactive and to be so living with them at all times, we needed to be a little more hands-on, a little more in-depth, and to build out a lot of processes through it and start integrating with our SSO, with all these other tools we use internally. We basically started, because we have an SSO, the first integration we did was getting everything behind our own SSO and building the complications that come with that and integrating with our actual product. And it's been customized since we got it. It was not out of the box tool ever.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So my name is Alex Solomon, and I'm one of the founders and CEO of PagerDuty. Started the company just over 4 years ago. We actually started in Toronto and moved down here pretty early on, and our office is just a block down the street. And we've been using the Zendesk pretty much. I mean, I think we probably started the typical way with just email. Send an email at support@PagerDuty, it goes into a Gmail inbox, but then we quickly saw that doesn't really scale. So we implemented Zendesk. We used the out-of-the-box version from some of the early days. From the early days of PagerDuty, we've been very customer-centric. Like we've kind of prided ourselves in just being very responsive and going above and beyond on customer support. Actually, I think the first year of PagerDuty, I actually did support myself, and then we handed it off to Bhaskar, who's sitting over there, and he's another one of the founders actually. So like support has always been run by one of the founders at PagerDuty because it's such a core piece, and we love it when we see our customers kind of comment on Twitter or on email about how of a great customer support experience they've had. And over time, we've kind of just done more and more with Zendesk. One of the first things that we've done with it is started using the knowledge base. And we actually just recently did a complete overhaul of our knowledge base where we just went through all the articles. We added a whole bunch of new ones, and we just made it all consistent with each other, lots of screenshots. Videos is kind of the next step, and adding some kind of walkthrough guides. I think another thing that we did, I think it's fairly recently actually, is we integrated Zendesk right inside our application as well. So when you click the support the support button in the application, you actually get a customized panel that shows you relevant articles to what page you're on. So if you're on the PagerDuty scheduling page, you will see a bunch of support articles about how to set up schedules, how to modify schedules, the different kinds of schedules that there are. We also try to make it as self-service as possible, because our customers are actually ops guys and DevOps and developers, and they're not necessarily patient enough to actually talk to someone or send an email and wait, or open a ticket and wait, or any of those things. So we wanted to they want the information now, we want to give it to them now. So that was part of our mentality, was if someone asks a question or the same question, multiple people ask the same question like more than 3 or 4 times, let's write an article. Next time they ask, let's give them a link to the knowledge base article, and then that way we don't have to write the same response over and over. Let's see what else. We've also kind of written our own kind of like a mini application to categorize all of our feature requests and support tickets. It actually uses the Zendesk API to slurp in all of the tickets, and every week we go through the tickets and categorize them and see what the top feature requests are. We link them to our internal account database, and we're actually trying to evolve it to the point where we can actually see the top feature requests by the number of customers that have requested each feature, and also by the dollar value of the customers. We're not there yet on the dollar value, but that's kind of the next step. So you can see, well, if we build this, that's $200,000 of customers measured in dollars that want this feature. So it's important. Versus like 100 customers want this feature, which they might all be really small customers. So yeah, we've kind of evolved over time and are using more and more and more of the platform and more of the APIs.
Cool, thank you.
I'm Kevin from New Relic. We also use Zendesk as our only method of contacting customers and getting support. We get a lot of tickets, like 3,200 a month. I don't know how many your organizations get.
It's around 400 now.
400?
Yeah, between 300 and 500.
Yeah, so 3,200. We use it for other things as well. Some of those, I believe, are our internal help desk tickets. We use it for that purpose as well. But our biggest challenge is just that we're growing really quickly. 18 months ago, I think we had 1 support person. Now we have 16. And we're still behind the curve. Right? Our relationship between our customer growth and our ticket growth is pretty much linear. And since we're in an exponential growth phase, that's a big problem. So we're working on a lot of self-help opportunities, the kind of stuff that you're talking about that haven't really been necessary until recently.
Oh, and if you guys want to chime in with questions or anything, feel free. I mean, it's pretty informal. I know you guys, we just kind of touched on this, but as your customer base increases, like, what are you doing to manage that ticket volume, right? You said you're kind of growing linearly. Linearly, and you guys have smaller ticket volumes, but you're doing more deflection type things. Can you talk about some of the methods that you use and some of the things that you might be looking forward to do to handle that volume?
So we do the self-help thing too. We use our docs on a separate website on docs@engineer.com, and people would go there for help for docs, and then they come to Zendesk and have to file a ticket. We realized that was flawed logic, and that what should happen is our customers should be able to, when they're typing in a ticket, to be prompted with, will this document help? We should just have our self-help inside of our ticketing system. So last March, we dumped it all in, and since last March, our customer count has gone up, and our ticket count has not. So every month since March, probably since before, but I haven't been tracking that. Every month since March of last year, our customer count has increased, and our ticket count has stayed. And that is a lot because of ticket deflection. Our tickets opened, there's a metric inside of Zendesk that is tickets created after search, or whatever, I forgot what that exact thing is. Ours is around 2%. So our customers are looking for the information, they're finding it, and if they're not, they're opening a ticket. But our ticket count is not increasing with our customers. It's not linear. It's kind of amazing. We not only have our documentation, but we have a forum section. So We have customers filing feature requests, bug issues, everything in there. And they're asking questions in the community forums, like, cloud frequently asked questions. When I get this issue, or when I get this error, what do I do? Other customers are answering their questions. They're filing tickets less because they're getting more self-help, they're getting help from other people. The community is growing inside of Zendesk, which is what we wanted to do. We're actually building a community, fostering a community. We have an integration with Badgeville that we did last year, around the same time we did the documentation. When you file a ticket, you get points. When you help someone answer a question, you get points, you get badges. And because we gamified the actual self-help and the help your neighbor type of mentality, people are loving the help because they're loving the badges. They're getting rewarded for things that we want them to do. So that has definitely helped. We also just deployed we made our own tool when you're in our actual product and you click on support. Before it would take you to Zendesk. It's behind a feature flag, and I'm gonna turn it on, probably not tonight, but maybe tomorrow. Which when you click the support button, it will then pop up a custom field that files a ticket on your behalf with metadata from our product, telling you which environment you are in, which level of our environment you're in, or what environment you're in, what application you're running. All the metadata that comes from that files as a private note into the ticket, and then the customer gets a thank you, they get an email, here's your ticket, and our guys can triage it, do their work, and they don't have to go directly to Zendesk and then come back to the product. They just do it from there. Which I feel like my whole theory of we have less tickets might fall apart there, because we might get more tickets because people are like, oh, tickets, without the self-help option present, but we're working on building that out too. But yeah, so using the knowledge base, using all of that stuff that's built in, if you can do it right, it can actually deflect your tickets. Because people want the self-help. They want to answer their own questions. They don't want to wait for it to be triaged and answered. They just want to say, hey, how do I get this? Or how do I get this error? Or they ask in the forums and they get an answer from their friend or some guy they don't know that they have shared community experiences. I would just suggest doing that in general because it's very helpful and it does help keep your ticket number down.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome.
So for us, our ticket count has been growing linearly, but our customers have been growing exponentially. So there's definitely, over time, the number of tickets has not grown in line with the number of customers, which is kind of our intent on the customer support side. And I think the reason why that is because of some of the things we've done with the integration of our own application and Zendesk, where we used to have the feedback tab. We just moved that into like a support button right inside the app. And when you click on it, like I mentioned before, but what happens is you get a pop-up with a list of relevant articles that are relevant to that page that you're on in the actual application. So hopefully, and we kind of encourage customers again to kind of self-help, and if that doesn't work, then file a ticket. And the great thing is that we've also started plugging in other sources of tickets into Zendesk as well. So we plugged in our Twitters so that if someone asks for, they mention that PagerDuty and they ask a support question on Twitter, it goes right into Zendesk and we can address it. We've also, our blog, sometimes comments come in via Discuss, and we've kind of integrated that into Zendesk as well so that we track everything in this one place and we capture everything. Because before, the problem was that stuff would actually fall through the cracks. Like sometimes a comment would show up on the blog and then nobody noticed. And like a week later, we're like, oh, there's a comment on the blog. And it's kind of a shitty customer experience, obviously. And same with Twitter. And Twitter is so like temporal, so like the timeline kind of goes by so quickly that if you miss it, it's gone, and the person forgets and just thinks, oh, these guys don't answer on Twitter. So we kind of plugged everything into Zendesk. And the great thing is that even with these extra sources of tickets, our ticket count hasn't grown like wildly. So we're kind of sitting on top of it fairly well. But yeah, the kind of the flow around self-help and just the drastic kind of improvement over time of our knowledge-based articles, where we went and this constant process of, is someone asking a question a few times, let's create a knowledge-based article. And let's create a good knowledge-based article. And then we're finding that customers will just find it on their own too. So that's every time you kind of add to the knowledge base, then you get less tickets. So it's a combination of all of these factors.
And I would just like to add, there's power in the comment the ability to comment on your documentation. So our customers will say, they'll find a document, and we keep them all up to date. We have tech writers who do that, but there might be like a typo in the code. So if there's a code block, there's a typo, there's something, or they disagree, they try something, and our frequently asked question didn't actually answer their question. And they'll comment, they'll say, hey, this isn't right, this is wrong, this isn't working for me, blah, blah, blah. We immediately take that information back to the tech writer, say, hey, fix this. We come back and say, thank you, for helping improve our documentation. So it's very interactive, and it's very everyone helping each other. But because they have an opinion, they have a voice, and we're responding, they actually are more, I feel like they attack our docs harder than they would if they couldn't comment, because they know that they have a voice. And it's kind of cool to watch your customers say, hey, I noticed this, and then you give them a badge. Really weird. But